Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. My name is Elise Smith, Christian business strategist.
And I'm Allie Porter, your Christian Connector Concierge. And together we've created the Millionaire Momentum Connector Agency. And we're super excited to have you on our live broadcast today. So, Elise, what are we going to be talking about today?
Yeah, absolutely. So, sometimes we have faith just to get the thing we want. Like, I'm just going to call it out. And we don't even realize we do this, by the way. But think about a goal or a challenge or a solution that you're looking for right now, right? God put that goal on your heart for a reason. And we know the scripture that talks about how the challenge of our faith or the trial of our faith can be more precious than rubies. But sometimes I'd rather have rubies than the trial of my faith, right? Sometimes that would be a whole lot easier. But I shared the other day, and I'm going to share something extremely personal with you guys here. I shared the other day in our M2 Mornings, which is our free community. Make sure you check out m2connector.com to learn more about it. But the story that I shared is, you guys, if you've been following my story at all for the last, umpteenth million years, you'll know that I had a struggle with infertility for 14 years. Unexplained infertility. They had no idea why we weren't able to have kids, and it was the hardest thing I've ever been through in my entire life. It was really, really hard. And as I'm telling this story, I want you guys to think of something in your life that you've been wanting for a long time as well, right? Allie, I know you have amazing desires of your heart too, and so we can talk about that here in just a sec. But this whole 14-year infertility journey was really, really difficult. And we got to, I think it was right after our 10th failed fertility treatment. And my husband and I, we just had this really strong impression to just take a break, right? And not because we wanted to take a break so that it would actually happen, right? That's like one of the most annoying advices that anybody gives you when you're trying to have a baby is just take a break. It'll happen naturally. I'm like, no, it won't.
Like, it's not
And
happening.
it didn't.
Yeah.
But we decided that we needed to just focus on our marriage and traveling for the next 6 months, and just like really enjoy this time without a baby. And I was really, really uncomfortable with it. It was really a hard answer for me to get. And so I went on to LDS.org at the time. Now I think it's called the Church of Jesus Christ.org or something. But if you go to LDS.org, you'll still see it. But in that is kind of this whole repository of different talks from our leaders of our church. We belong to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and it's amazing to be able to hear from these apostles and these prophets and pastors, however you want to look at them. And they usually give you an answer that you're looking for, like right then and there, if you go and read those. I mean, they're just amazing, these talks are. And I was reading this talk from, I can't even remember who it was, but the concept here, the story was that this young couple that had just gotten married, maybe like 3 to 5 months before that, the husband was diagnosed with cancer, which, oh man, just it breaks my heart every time that I read that story. And they asked this leader of the church to come and give them a blessing, or basically pray over the guy to basically make sure that he lives, or that they were comforted in the process, or whatever it might be, right? And so what happened is right before he gave him the blessing, he says, and we'll just call him Jake because I don't remember his name. He says, Jake, and I want you guys to really think about this question. Pretend like I'm asking this question to you, right? Jake, I know you have the faith to be healed, but do you have the faith to not be healed? Right? And when I read that, I was like, oh man, if that's my answer for having a baby, that sucks, but it's really true. Sometimes we have faith to get what we want, right? But do we have the faith to not get what we want? That's where it gets really hard. What are your thoughts on that, Allie?
Yeah, I mean, that is the hardest thing, because that requires that. It still requires that faith of like, okay, I trust you. It requires that trust more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't even realize we're doing it sometimes, right? Like in
Mhm.
that moment, I realized, like, okay, I have the faith for you to heal my body so I can have a baby, right?
Mhm.
But do I have the faith to not be healed? Like, what if I'm never supposed to have a baby? Or I hate to say it this way, but what if you never reach that financial goal in your head? Can
Mhm.
you still have faith and trust in your Heavenly Father?
Mhm.
And as we were talking about this in M2 Mornings the other day, one of our amazing ladies in the group posted the picture that I just love. Don't you love that picture of the bear
Yes.
with Jesus? Do you want
Yes.
to explain it?
Yeah, so basically it's the Jesus Christ has a huge teddy bear behind his back, and this little kid has a little teddy bear, and Jesus Christ has his arm out like, or his hand out like, "Hey, give me the teddy bear." And the little kid's like, "I don't want to give you the teddy bear because,
It's my
because
favorite.
they don't see the bigger teddy bear, behind Jesus's back when the exchange is made." So it's really powerful.
Yeah, it's so so powerful to just think like we we can give up our desires to get something even bigger and better from the Lord, right?
Mhm.
And it's hard in the moment. It's really hard. But do you have the faith to go through months and months of planting seeds for your business and not watch the harvest? Do you
Mhm.
have the faith to trust that He's going to provide, your for your next bill that comes out? Do you have the faith to put yourself out there as a Christian and not know how people are going to react to that, right? What other ways do you feel like we need to have faith in our business?
I mean, I would say having faith to also not have to hustle and grind through it,
That's a good one.
realizing that you can allow things to happen and not like push for them to happen. Um, I would say also being able to drown out the noise of people that don't understand or don't get you, and that's okay too, and they're on their journey, you're on your journey, but don't allow that to affect the vision or the desire that God has for you, because everybody's different, everybody has their path and their vision. And then I would say also being able to uh, being able to be smart with what you're doing and not just be like, "Oh yeah, this sounds good, so I'm going to do this," but like really being able to trust that there is reason behind things, there is a system behind things, and being able to seek out those people that can help you get there, faster, and using the resources and the tools and the people that God has put in your path.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if we were to ask you, let's say that you put in a whole year of work in your business and you don't make more than $100. If you knew that going into it, would you do it?
I don't know. To
That's
be
not the
honest,
right answer. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't
No,
know.
it's a really good question, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would like to say yes, that I would still do it, but that's hard for people to swallow. And that's why a lot of people are not entrepreneurs, because they can't do that. Like it doesn't make sense to them. And so that doesn't, they're not able to do that. But but if you look at it from a different perspective, if you look at it from, I put all of this in and I learned something and I grew, because you, as an entrepreneur, man, it stretches you. It stretches you so far.
Every
But
day.
think about all the blessings that you get from it. And think about, the fact that there is a harvest at the end. Like, or, along the way, there's going to be harvests, and just trusting that it's all going to work out.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you brought up that perspective, right? Because it is a perspective. If you're like, okay, I'm going to put a year's worth of my life into this business and I get $100 in return. But think about how many people you helped along the way. Think about the person that you became because of that journey, right?
Mhm.
You are becoming the millionaire that you want to have, and you have to be that before you receive that, right?
Mhm.
I know
Mhm.
you talk about that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be it before you receive it. And I do believe that as we continue to grow, things will start coming faster. But when you first start, Like it just is what it is. And you have to be okay with that. And so that's why a lot of people say, don't quit your job and start your business. You know what I mean? Like work them simultaneously so you still have that steady income coming in. And then, but pursue it, pursue something different, pursue something better, and not better, pursue something that has been put on your heart to pursue. Right. And trust that God's got you through the whole thing because he put that on your heart for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So it may take longer than what you expect. In fact, we were just talking about this earlier today, is that there's this gap between who you're becoming and what you're attracting and what your current reality is now.
Mhm.
Talk to us about that, because I think you talked about it perfectly.
Yeah. So, and I'm actually in the process of experiencing this right now. And so I can speak to this very well. But you can put in the effort, put in the work. You can change your mindset. You can change your way of being. And then you go and you look at your bank account, or you look at the circumstances around you, and you're like, okay, so I've worked on myself. I've been working on this thing. Why is it not lining up? And it's a blessing because God created the gap for a reason, because if we thought of something and then it appeared, we'd be in trouble, right? Because if I thought about an elephant and then an elephant appeared in the room right then, we'd be in trouble. So there's this little gap of what you're thinking and then when it actually appears and when it happens. And so what do you do in that waiting period? What do you do in that space where things are still not where you want them, but you have shifted and you have changed? And that is where the faith comes in. That's the rare faith that we keep talking about, where you believe that it's still coming to you. You believe that it's already there. You just have to wait for it to catch up. Like that's really all it comes down to. And sometimes it may be a week, sometimes it may be a couple months, sometimes it may be even, in your case, maybe, 14 years, right?
Yeah.
But in God's time, like that's nothing, right? So also think of it in that terms. But regardless, you're learning, you're growing, you're progressing, and you're becoming that best version of you. And so you just have to hold on to that. You just have to continually hold on to the faith, that knowing that it is coming, and don't allow the voices, don't allow the circumstances, just ignore it. Just be like, okay, well, I know that this is what it's showing, but that's actually not what's coming to me. And if you can hang on, it will start to shift. It will. And we've experienced that. And this isn't the first time I've experienced this. This happens through everything in life. And so just being willing to do that and being willing to work through that is what it means to become the millionaire version of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that it requires faith, that's a good thing. Right? Mm-hmm. Just like you were saying, if we were given everything any moment that we asked for it, we wouldn't have faith. Yeah. And faith gives us a closer relationship with our God than anything else can. Right? Mm-hmm. Because those are the moments where you're dependent upon him. Mm-hmm. Think about a newborn baby is dependent completely on their mother and father for everything that they have, right? Mm-hmm. They have such a good relationship like that. You don't even think about it being a relationship because you're just like one at that point. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing that when we go through the trials and the challenges and the waiting periods of our lives and in our business and any goal that you're going after, that is such an incredible blessing to be able to gain the faith that it takes to hit the next level, because the person who you are now is not ready for that next level until you go through some faith building experiences. That's the thing that gives you that little up level mushroom in Mario, right? Mm-hmm. is testing your faith and building up that relationship with God so that you can become that person who's ready for that next level. And so thank you for letting us just share our heart with you guys on this, and keep the faith. Believe that it is already on its way. And I know that sounds woo-woo and I hate even saying it, but I'm really stepping into it, is that we don't have to focus on it in a negative way. Reframe your thoughts, look at it from a positive perspective. And as you do so, the more that you let it go, right? And the more that you just let it happen naturally and trust that God has your back, he will work miracles. We saw a miracle this morning when we got a sale, like right off the bat in the morning. Like there was something that was coming up and we needed to make sure that we had the funds to be able to pay for it, and God provided a way, and it was in the exact moment that we were letting go.
Exactly.
So do it from a place of letting go and of surrender and trusting that he's always got your back. He has always got your back, and he would never put a dream in your heart that he wasn't willing to help you to accomplish. So
Amen.
it's going to take faith and works, but that doesn't mean it has to be a struggle.
Yep. And you get to choose how it's going to roll out. You get to choose how you're going to respond. And so that's great practice as well to see if you truly have faith.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Make sure you go to m2connector.com to check out all of the amazing resources that we have to help you gain that closer relationship with God. We have some amazing people that we've partnered with, such as Christian business coaches, to be able to empower you to build God into your business more. We have amazing free events that you can come and join us with here at m2connector.com to be able to include God more in your business and help get those goals that he's placed on your heart. So thank you guys so much for watching, and
until next time, stay inspired, believe in Christ, and receive the wealth and prosperity that God has for you. And let's create millionaire momentum with God as